Hello, everyone. We are here. Hello, everyone. We are here in another Facebook Live. Today, we are going to talk about the truth about the travel exemptions here in Australia, to travel between Australia and India. And to talk about this important topic, I have, as I invited, an important invited that has a great knowledge about this. That is Anuja Cohen. How are you, Anuja? How are you today?
Good evening. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Okay, good to know. So, Anuja, things to check how is the exemptions going these days? Are we having some changes in the travel exemptions?
So, changes when you talk about the travel exemption, you're asking me a question about travel exemption rules, right?
Yes.
If there are any changes. See, it's pretty much the same. The few things which are an added relief is that India is not. We have more flights for India on our website, and India is not high risk country. So we have it's going to India is easier. However, applying for the travel exemption, it's the same rule which was before, that you need to keep applying and do not give up. Make your application, apply smartly with your application. Put all the essential details. If you want to add, you can add up to 25 attachments when you're applying for travel exemptions. And make your application, apply as many documents as you can, like add as many documents as you can, because they basically want to see proof for everything. And there could also be a possibility, Chris, that when you apply for travel exemption, that the first time when they are doing the screening, maybe it's artificial intelligence, because a lot of applications are just getting rejected. But if after the first time, maybe it's going to somebody, to the people, to real people. So just do not give hope. Keep applying and put the right information.
So it's a kind of automatic approval or disapproval that is happening at the moment.
So the application, when we are applying for exemption, it's usually, sometimes it really depends on your emergency. If you are going for a reason like from Australia, you are leaving, you're an Australian passport holder or a PR holder, and you are leaving because you had a death in the family. They are checking your application on priority. But again, they are giving exemption only after checking your documents, because there have been cases where there was death in the family and the exemption was not given. So you have to be, you have to put all the relevant documents. It could be medical, if it's a medical emergency, put all the relevant documents related to it, and then probably, go about it.
Okay, perfect. So do you have some kind of presentation to share with us? Yes?
Yeah, so I'll be just sharing with you what all documents we require when we are leaving from Australia, and then we will discuss the documents which we need when we are leaving from India.
Okay, so yeah, for sure, let's check those ones, and you can explain more to us about how the travel exemptions are going. That's perfect. So, Anuja, you were saying that it's really important to apply many times, because basically some people is getting rejected for some kind of machine. Is that true?
See, that is what I have understood after I have checked a lot of cases with I've spoken to a lot of people, and I've seen the groups where these things are being discussed, and that, you know, first time it could be possible that your application might be rejected because it's going through a scan, like, you know, like some artificial intelligence, and it's just automatic. But that is something which I can't vouch for, but it looks like it could be like that. But if that's the case, then it means that we need to put the our application, the statutory declaration, we need to add that, and we need to put the exact reasons for each declaration. We need to add probably a proof. For example, if there's a medical emergency, put that medical proof. If there is if there is any other reason you're going, any personal reason you're going, you're going for a marriage or for your wedding, then you need to add that document, you know, to prove that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really important. So basically, we have some questions here in Zoom, for example, and it's not necessarily related to travel essentials, but DS is asking, is there an expectation that the flights scheduled in September and October from India will get canceled?
Expectation that the flight scheduled in September and October from India to Australia will see if there is any schedule change like that. We will definitely keep our people who have booked through us informed. At the moment, we do not have any information like this. However, we will keep the people informed in case anything like this happens, because you know, the rule, you know, the changes can happen anytime right now. We all understand. So
Yeah.
this is something which will not be, if it happens, it will not happen because of Gora Travel, but because of reasons beyond our control.
Okay, that's perfect. So were talking, I'm going to show in a screen some information that you had shared with us. And can you please talk about it? Is that?
Yeah, definitely. So I want to discuss the documents checklist for Australian and Indian passport holder, the essential documents checklist when you are flying from Australia to India.
Yeah.
So if you are an Australian passport holder, you need a valid visa to travel to India, or an OCI. Valid visa can be applied online, and with the fee, with the amount of fee you pay, you are usually getting it in 24 hours. Then the other thing is, the most important part is the travel exemption, because you are an Australian passport holder. So you would need an exemption. We will definitely be discussing this in much detail, the reasons you can get exemption. And another important thing is that you get your RT-PCR test done within 48 hours of departure of your international flight. And you need to upload this in your self-declaration form only. So when you're going to India, you have to fill a self-declaration form, which is like the Australia travel declaration form, and you need to upload your RT-PCR test report in that form. And a new update about, not a new update, it's just that in case you have filled any information incorrectly in self-declaration form, make sure that you can you know, reapply for that self-declaration and get a new one, because this self-declaration form is actually being checked at the airport in Australia. However, it's once you reach India, it might not be checked, but in Australia it's being checked. So make sure all the details are correct in this form. And good thing is that you can reapply it and get a new one if you have made any error. And yeah, so these are the basic documents. Then the health declaration, which is the immigration form or the India arrival form, that's a physical copy which you will get on email from us, and you can just take the printout and fill it. The other thing is that Arogya Setu app, which is mandatory for all the travelers when they are leaving when they arrive in India. That app needs to be updated. It's like the COVID, the Victorian government app we use here.
Okay.
And yeah. So, and if you are an Indian passport holder with permanent residency, the rules remain the same, which I just explained, except that you don't need visa because you already have an Indian passport. You need a travel exemption from Australian Border Forces, and rest of the details, they remain the same. The RT-PCR test, the self-declaration form, the India arrival form, and the Arogya Setu app. However, if you are an Indian passport holder without permanent residency, it's much easier for you to travel. You can travel. And there's one more thing I want to tell you here, that you, for example, you are on a critical skills visa 482, and you do not want to leave without exemption, because coming back will definitely be a problem. Problem in the sense you would need exemption if you're not a permanent resident or an Australian passport holder. In that case, you will not get. It really depends on you how severe critical is your situation. If you are leaving, you are allowed to leave if you are a temporary visa holder, but you will not get the exemption to enter Australia before you leave. I'm not saying you will not get it, but that's how the cases are being coming through. Like, people are not getting the exemption unless they leave Australia with
Oh,
temporary visa. Yeah.
okay. So to resume, you were saying something really important is now the RT-PCR test has changed for 48 hours instead 72.
So yeah, so it's on the website. It says 72 hours only, but it's better to get it done in 48 hours.
In 48 hours.
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. So now, in the other case, you were saying Indian passport holders without permanent residency, they has less restrictions to travel back to India. Is that right?
I'm sorry, come back again. If
The Indian passport holders without permanent residency or citizenship are the ones that has less trouble, let's say, in this
exactly,
case,
that's true. And
to travel back to India.
back to
However, anyone, citizens, that people with citizenship or Indian passport
PR.
holders with permanent residency,
Mhm.
they are the people that need to apply for an exemption.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, so what kind of exemptions or what are the main exemptions that people can get? What are they? Can you give us examples of the exemptions?
Yeah, so I will talk about the exemptions when you are leaving from. So when you're leaving from Australia. Okay, so only, as I told you, only permanent residents and Australian passport holders, they need to apply for exemption when they are leaving from Australia. And the reasons which with the website gives is, if the immigration website, which is the Home Affairs website, gives you, is that important reasons could be that you are traveling for business, or which we haven't come across many times with the number of people who are going through us. Most of the cases, people who are getting exemption are through compassionate and compelling grounds, or urgent and unavoidable personal business, or traveling overseas for a reason for at least 3 months. And even if you're getting exemption for on compassionate and compelling grounds, you have it's usually giving you for minimum 3 months.
Ah,
I mean, I'm not saying it's a rule, but most of the times people, when they're getting exemption on the basis of compelling grounds, or of on any compelling or compassionate reason, which is usually, a medical emergency or death in the family. In that case, they are getting it only because for minimum 3 months. So,
okay.
that everybody has to keep in mind, and they also have to add a declaration with it, which really helps your case, because when you can put in a declaration in a proper manner, from what all documents are you attaching, and what all reasons you have. So when you look at the cases of people who are getting exemption at the moment, there are people who have tried like 11th time and then got the exemption. And there were people who have tried it just the first time, and within 48 hours, they got the exemption. So,
Okay.
yeah, so it's really, really case specific.
Okay.
And yeah,
It's similar to the visas. It depends of the agent that applied the exemption mostly. Some people evaluate the case differently. Do you think that has an impact or?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yeah, I mean, for example, when you apply for a visa, some people got the visa really quick, and some people take
Exactly.
longer. So I guess it's similar process.
It's similar. Yeah, travel exemptions are actually it could be a lengthy process, or it could be a very short process depending on your situation. See,
Yeah.
for example, I'll give you an example. For example, um, I know someone, like one of the customer who was trying to who wants to start a who wants to go to out of Australia because they want to they want to start a family, and
Yes.
they got the exemption in the third attempt on the basis that it's their basic right to, it's their human right to procreate and to start a family. And there are people who've been applying for a very long time, but they couldn't get the exemption so easily. So you just have to keep applying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's try to see some questions that we have on our Zoom meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is there a view available flights from October onwards? So I can help you with that one. This question is by Just Want. Just Want, at the moment, we don't have availability for flights India to Australia, is your question, rather than October. All other flights has been sold out, and whatever is in the website is the very few seats that we have available to come from India to Australia. However, to go, and we will update the website with more flights when the local authorities in Australia increase the caps, because at the moment the trouble is the limitation of caps that we have to bring people into Australia. So Melbourne has a limited cap, New South Wales has a limited cap, and also Brisbane and Adelaide. So for that reason, we are waiting for the limited caps to be increased or to be released for the next months, and then we will continue with our mission of repatriate people. On the other hand, for example, going from Australia to India, the number of people moving from Australia to India during this season has been increased. For example, in July, we had more than 500 passengers, and in August, we increased 50% that numbers. So there are more and more people. We had more than 700 people traveling in August, when in July was around 500. So more people are getting exemptions, Anuja.
Yes, that's
And
true.
we are having more and more flights. At the moment, we have flights from Etihad and Emirates. And soon we will have more airlines to join in the website. So more flights available, more options to you. One stop, two stops. For example, with Etihad, we have a great price in economy class. And with that price, no matter it's economy class, when you stop in Abu Dhabi, we have access to the premium lounge
Lounge. Yes.
for the people that travel with Gaura Travel. This is exclusive with Gaura Travel. You won't find this offer anywhere else. The price starts at $8.99. We had flights available for September, October, November, and December. And when you stop in Abu Dhabi, you will have access to really a good room with TV, unlimited food. If you need to take a shower, there are facilities to take a shower, children's rooms to entertain your little ones. So there are a lot of facilities with this flight, and we also have the Emirates flights that also we have more than 37 dates available between September, October, and November. And we will have December available soon. So Anuja,
Yes.
more questions that we have from our the people that is connected with us today on Zoom and Facebook. What about if we book the flight from Australia to India and on last moment flights cancel? What happened to the book tickets?
So, in case you book a flight with us from Australia to India, and as I told before, as I spoke about it before, that we will not be canceling the flight, and we will only be canceling the flight if it's beyond our if it's beyond us. If Gaurav Travel is, it will only be cancelled if there are reasons which are beyond our control. So, if in case it's cancelled, now so far we haven't cancelled many flights. Very few flights have been cancelled. In case it's cancelled, we will give you an alternative option. Whatever would be the alternative best next available option, we will be providing.
Okay. Another question. Approximately how long does it take for exemption application to be approved? So I apply for my exemption. How long it will take to be approved?
See, again, for example, it really depends on your case. If you have a case, if you have applied, so they are working on weekends, that is for sure, because people have got responses even on weekends. So you apply on a Friday, it can be answered in 24 to 48 hours, because it will tell you your status. When you will check the status of your application, it will tell you what exactly is it. Is it under process, or they are they're just checking it. It will tell you what is the exact status of your application. And it can take 24 hours, sometimes it can take 48 hours, sometimes more. It really depends on your emergency, how urgent it is for you to travel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's continue with the questions that are being really interested. Does the people has to apply first for exemptions and then book the tickets, or do you recommend to book the tickets before applying for exemptions? How do you?
So when you attach your itinerary in the exemption, it makes your case stronger again, because it does ask you for tickets. That when you are applying for exemption, it does ask you for tickets. If you so when you are applying for exemption, we would at least urge you to book your make a booking at least, so that you can at least give that document when you're applying for the exemption. That would be a good idea, because it does ask you for your tickets, whether your tickets are booked or not.
Okay, so if you hold OCI, still can come to India?
So if you are holding an OCI, it means you are an Australian passport holder, right? And that means that you need travel exemption. And before, you cannot travel outside Australia unless you have the travel exemption.
Okay. Another one. Is there any expired date for inbound travel exemption approval? So I got inbound exemption, Does my exemption expire at any time, or how long it lasts,
this is
that exemption?
Yeah, this is a very important question, and it really depends on each case. For example, we had a case where exemption from last year, June 2020, was rejected last minute by Australian Border Forces, that they didn't allow the traveler to come from India to Australia because the
Oh,
exemption was from June 2020. It didn't have the TER0 number, and which have been, they have started giving this number, I think, in September or August, and they believe that the circumstances might have changed in a year. So that can happen. It's better if you feel and that's why we always inform our customers that your exemption is from last year, and you should always check with Home Affairs whether this is valid or not. And I also want to tell you that when you call Home Affairs to check this information, they just give you a very general information that your travel exemption should also state that, this will expire in 3 months or not. If it doesn't say anything and it's from, like, November 2020 or December 2020, we have cases where people had exemption from November 2020 or maybe September 2020, but they were able to travel. They were not stopped.
okay.
Yeah.
So there is a way to validate if the exemption is still available to be used?
Yeah, see, I'll tell you what I've seen through the process is that earlier the past exemption used to have expiry date. At the moment, the ones which are being issued, they don't have an expiry date. Like, doesn't say that you have to use it before this date.
Okay.
Yeah.
So someone is asking us, Japan, I want planning to visit India for my wedding. However, I heard that you had to be in India for at least 3 months. Is that correct? And do we still to have long queues for getting back Australia to India?
So yeah, the queues are long. That is true. But when you because you'll be going for a wedding, so this will not be on compassionate ground. This will be this is definitely for a good reason, and a very strong personal reason. So you will have to provide all the documents to them, and provide all the documents related to it. Now, for 3 months or not, it really depends on Australian border forces. There is no clarity whether they are giving every exemption for 3 months, for a minimum stay of 3 months or not. So we cannot comment on that.
Okay. So another question. I guess the question for Japan, also I think the possibilities to get exemptions easier in the future is also to get the vaccine. This is really important because with the national plan of the 4 phases that Australia has released, at some point when Australia reached 80% of the people fully vaccinated, there in the plan, this is not a rule that is already in place, but whatever the plan says is if you got vaccinated in Australia with your 2 jabs, you will be able to travel outbound and inbound. There wouldn't be restrictions for people that has a citizenship or permanent residency, but that is only when Australia reach 80% of the population, eligible population, full vaccinated. This is a topic that we are going to discuss next Monday at the same time. However, we will continue today with the travel exemptions. So one question is, for parents of Australian citizens and PR holders living in India. So the parents are living in India, but the people that once the parents come into Australia are here, they are Australian citizens and PR holders. Is something that is approved for visitor visa for Indian parents?
visit, that's something that is approved for visit. So yeah, it's very sad that parents of Australian citizens and PR holders are not considered immediate family.
Mhm.
So yeah, we cannot actually look forward to seeing them immediately at least. But what I understand is that from the cases, what we have seen is that not many parents are being allowed to enter Australia on, or if they are being allowed on visitor visa, most of them are on visitor visa when they're coming to Australia, if they are allowed with exemption. And exempt reason is very severe, very critical. It's usually a compassionate on a compassionate grounds, or something which is absolutely out of hands. I mean, there are personal cases, but usually it's on compassionate and compelling reasons. And your another question is, should we apply for exemption first and then visit a visa, or what is the actual process? So um, there is no process as such. What I've understood is that when you're applying for visa first, what happens is that um, uh, you also need to get a medical test done in India, and the queue is long. Basically, it's a huge backlog, right? So what would be better is that when you are applying for exemption, when you're applying for exemption for anyone, you should apply the visa simultaneously for them. That is what I've seen people doing. Another thing which I've seen them doing is that they apply for exemption first, and then they apply for visa on the basis of the travel exemption, and they do get it in quickly, because at least they have the exemption.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But at the moment, they are not considered a immediate family. Yeah.
No, at the moment, parents are not immediate family, and this is really sad because they are actually.
Okay. What type of valid visas we can apply? We have applied for OCI, but looks like it's going to take a while. Can apply any other visa to India meanwhile?
So I am not really aware about the kind of visas you can apply, but what I see is that you are able to apply for visitor visa to India, and you can also do visa on arrival. But again, the details you'll have to check on VFS website, VFS Global. So that you need to check there. I'll not be the right person to answer this.
Okay. What happened with the tickets that the people bought before the lockdown?
I'm sorry, what is the question? What happens to the ticket?
Yeah, that people bought before lockdown.
Mm-hmm. So if you have bought a ticket through us, and you are before the lockdown, what is that the whole question, or there's more to it, Chris?
The person purchased the tickets for the parents to visit Australia, and now they can't visit.
Okay, and when did he bought this ticket?
Satinder, if you can extend your 2019.
2019, which means it was done before the pandemic.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you need to get in touch with our refunds team. I'm sure if you have done it through us, our refund team has already communicated with you. And while most of the tickets have been refunded, there could be some possibilities, some airlines who have not processed the refund, and hence it has not been processed further from Gora Travel to our customers. So yeah, please get in touch with you can check the refund status online on our website, or you can also write to us at refunds@goratravel.com.au.
Yeah. So if a passenger has Australian citizen, PP holders, how is the process of coming back to Australia? Looking at the moment, how they can come back to Australia? What are the conditions to return?
Okay, so if you have an Australian passport, and you want to come back to Australia, you do not need any exemption. You are you don't need any exemption. You just have to book your ticket, fill your Australia travel declaration, and book a flight.
Just for citizens or PR holders can also?
PR holders and citizens.
Okay, perfect.
Just give me a minute, Chris. Just a second.
Okay, so we have more and more questions. 1 second. Numbers of inward travelers to Australia reduced from 1,500 to 750. People with critical skill 482 visa who have ticket with Gaura travel for September, will there be delay in travel or it will be the day of the tickets?
Sorry, will there be what?
So basically, this person has a visa, a skill visa 482, and they have a ticket with Gaura travel for September. I understand is to come into Australia. So are they still eligible to come back to the country?
So you're saying he has critical,
does he have skill? Yeah. It's a critical skill visa, yes.
Yeah, but even critical skill visa holders, they need to apply for exemption to enter Australia.
Okay, if Ramadim already has an exemption, he can come as regular, and the exemption that we discussed earlier doesn't have a expiry date.
So when was his exemption received? It really depends on when did he get the exemption? Did he get it?
He has the exemption. He just confirmed to us internally.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I want to travel for wedding, do I need to make it through unavoidable personal business?
I want to make, if I'm traveling for wedding, then?
Yes. So it's asking if the exemption has to be unavoidable personal business.
There is other reason as well there, which says that it could be a personal reason. I'll tell you the exact word. It's traveling urgent and unavoidable personal business. Yes, that could be the reason.
Okay. Pretty is saying, I have compassionate reasons as my mom is alone and dad and brother have passed away. Sorry for that, Pretty. I have an Australian passport and I have OCI. Will that be sufficient to apply for exemption? Okay.
Yeah, so Preeti, you have not specified whether you want to travel. Okay, I think you want to travel. Yes, that is a reason to travel to India. However, again, it really I mean, I'm really sorry to say this, but depends when did you lose your father and your brother, because see, they are considering the fact that they're considering the fact that that you have lost someone in your family recently. Okay, that is one reason, which is death in the family. The other could be that your mom is going through a very tough time because she is all by herself and is not able to manage. You will have to provide documents supporting this reason, and then probably that would make your case stronger that you can travel.
So another question that we have is, what type of valid visas? This is
already discussed.
Repeated. We already discussed this one. How many people will travel in a flight at the time? So let's discuss Australia to India and India to Australia, for example.
Mhm. So Australia to India, because the prices are as you can see, the prices are not exorbitant at the moment. They are not. They are very regular prices. With Emirates or any other airline, the flights are the flight is usually full, or it depends actually. There are no restriction as such from going from Australia. However, coming into Australia from India, the capping is very low. I can't give you the exact number, but most of the flight will be empty and there'll be very few people.
Yeah. Okay. So we already discussed the entrance of visitors to Australia. At the moment, they are not allowed. Yeah, is that true?
Yes.
So we would like to know more about vaccination requirements while traveling from Australia to India and back, especially for those who are fully vaccinated, Pfizer or AstraZeneca. Are there any specific vaccines that can be an issue which are not allowed by either Australian or Indian authorities?
See, there is no guidelines for vaccinations at the moment, like guidelines in the sense that you need to get back, because in Australia we have mainly Pfizer, AstraZeneca,
AstraZeneca?
and Moderna, which will be coming very soon for 12 from 12 years old. So we don't have a particular vaccine at the moment for which for which people the government is saying that you have to be vaccinated with this particular one. Another thing which I've noticed, which I've read about, is that a lot of people who are coming from India and who got COVID shield are now being vaccinated for the second dose of AstraZeneca. So, more or less, it what makes the difference is that whether you are vaccinated or not, at the moment, it is not being specified anywhere. At least I'm not aware of it.
Yeah. So Venkatesh got an exemption for approval on 13th of August and booked a ticket with us for 11th of October. So it's asking, can I still, I traveling? Can Venkatesh still traveling? It has an exemption. We had the flight. I guess there is no trouble to fly. What do you?
So, so if
How
you
can
have
you
booked
guide
a
us?
flight with us, you can just definitely, if you have made the payment and everything, you can just drop an email to us. We will reply to you. And in case, which it doesn't look like there will be a cancellation. However, in case because of capping issues, if there is any cancellation, we will keep you informed and we will give you an alternative option as soon as we can find it.
Exactly. What type of valid visas we can apply? Okay, this is a
Repeated.
repeated one. Repeated one. This is the one that 2020 we already discussed it. Will Australia travel passport be made available to Australian PR on Indian passport as well?
I'm not able to understand this question, Chris.
Basically, I guess it's Australian passport holders will be available to travel with Indian passports. Yeah. Kuri Vishal, you can explain yourselves better. We will happy to reply your question.
I think this question from Raj, do we get both doses before we travel? Definitely. It would be really great. And again, as I mentioned, even when you are applying for travel exemption, definitely mention that you are vaccinated.
Yeah.
Because this is what the government wants right now, everybody to be vaccinated. And while it's not a written rule. However, this definitely is considered that you are vaccinated. You should definitely mention.
Exactly. So just to double confirm, PR citizens, PRs and citizens don't need exemption to travel from India to Australia. We mentioned this before.
Yeah, that's true. They don't need exemption to travel from India to Australia.
A-
India to
Any,
Australia. And the
any
other way,
documents that they have to show?
so they have the basic requirement, the most basic one, which is when you travel from India, you have an Australian passport. Just check that you have valid OCI. When you are like OCI will be definitely be valid, but if your visa has expired, just check that. Then you will have to probably apply for an exit visa. That's the one basic requirement. Second is that you get tested within 48 hours of departure from India. You fill the Australia travel declaration form within 72 hours. And yeah, these are the basic requirements. And if you are traveling interstate in India, always check that you have the if you require any entry pass. For example, if you're traveling via Tamil Nadu, you always need the entry pass, which is the e-pass, Tamil Nadu e-pass.
Okay. Coming back to the pretty case, do you remember she has her mom in India, brother and father has passed away? So she was talking to us. She wanted to travel, and we did the answer. But she also wanted to consider the other option, and the other option is: can she bring the mom?
Yeah. So again, see it. She can bring on the basis that her mother is not able to help, is not able to, you know, sustain herself or help herself because of whatever reasons. It could be medical reasons. It could be reasons that she has mental. It could be, mentally. It's mentally exhausting for her to stay all by herself because the only family she has is in Australia. This can be, she can apply for exemption for her on this basis. This
Okay.
could be a compassionate reason, yes.
Okay. This is an interesting question, and people is asking what can happen in terms if they reduce the numbers of caps to enter to Australia. There is a possibility that people can be moved in the flights for other flights.
That is true. That is true. So the question is that because of the cap reduction, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so cap reduction is happening, and in case it affects our flights, we will definitely be we will have to move the travelers. That will be the only option, and we would definitely try to find the most available option.
Just give me a sec. Uh, okay, so next question. So same question. I think we reach. What are the fares for India to Australia? Until the moment, we only have a business class.
Yes, we have business class. Yes.
Yeah, and basically, let's explain why it's just business class. Because the caps are very limited, so airlines needs to cover the costs of flying with very few passengers in a airplane. So the price of the tickets, of course, is quite high. However, the negotiation that we did with the airline was okay. If that's going to be the cost of the price, at least allow the passengers to travel in business class, and of course they agreed to it. So this is an alliance that we have between Indigo in India for the domestic flight, then the flight that goes from Chennai to Colombo, and from Colombo Sri Lankan Airlines operate the flights to Melbourne and Sydney, and those people that needs to reach Brisbane go through Sydney, apply for a green zone. Remember, quarantine hotels are green zones. So when you arrive to Australia in Sydney. Then in Sydney, you spend your quarantine 14 days. And during that time, you apply for your green zone permit to travel directly from your hotel quarantine to the airport, and the airport to Brisbane.
Yes.
And in Brisbane, the regular thing that should happen, and until the moment is working like that, you don't have to do any other quarantine because you already did it in Sydney.
Sydney, yes.
It's really important to explain. Pretty say thank you to you, Anuya, for your answers. What visa can I apply for my parents to bring them here? Parveen is asking, is there any visa that people can apply to bring parents back?
Currently, as we know that parents are not being considered immediate family. So even if you apply, you will need to apply for an exemption for them. So you cannot bring them unless you have the travel exemption if they have Indian passport without permanent residency. So if you find your reasons are strong enough to bring them and you want to apply for exemption, I think you can apply it simultaneously. That you apply for travel exemption and you apply the visitor visa 600 or any other visa. You'll have to check the visa categories. I'm not able to advise you on that which visa should you apply, but usually people apply for the visitor visa, the category 600, or any other whichever. You have to go through the list suits your requirement.
Okay. Is likely to get a flight sooner from India to Australia. This person is Nipa, and Nipa is in the last year of allied health study at university and work as an essential worker in a clinic to provide to the Australian public. I think essential workers in health system can apply for exemptions, Andrea?
Essential workers, they can work, they can, if they already have been working in Australia as essential workers, for example nurse or allied health science, they can also apply under critical skills.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anandita is asking us, my father passed away last month. We are all siblings in Australia. My mom is the only one left behind. What are the options available? Do I have to apply exemption first or visa? What I should apply? So should all the siblings are here in Australia, and it's not clear if they have a citizenship or PR. Could be good.
Really sorry for your loss, Anandita. If you want to apply, as I told before, just now, like you need to apply for travel exemption, and on the either you can apply on, if you get it travel exemption, then on that basis you can apply for a visa for her to come to Australia, or you can apply it simultaneously. That's what I've seen people doing. They apply both together, you know. For example, when you're filling the travel exemption, it asks you whether that you have already applied for visa or not. You can say that, so there is a choice that you have already applied, or it's in the already applied, or you received it, or you will apply later. So yes, you should apply it simultaneously.
Yeah, and we have a case similar the last Facebook Live when you were with us in this series of Facebook Lives. And I remember one of your advice was, for example, Anandita's already confirmed they are citizens and PR holders.
It really helps because you are an Australian passport holder. That really helps, that they have financially and socially, that the person who's coming from India is secured. And yeah, so that really makes your case stronger. You're right, Chris. Yes.
Yeah, and I remember we were saying the person that has the citizenship, just one of them, should apply for the exemption and add the information of the other siblings.
Add the information of the other person. Yes, you're right.
Okay, perfect. I hope that helps, Anandita. You're welcome. Let's see. Okay. At the moment, we have not much more questions. It's really good. Let me check. I remember Bermapinis was trying to reach us and clarify the question. Venkatesh, sorry. Let me check again.
Chris, do you want to take some questions? Let me see. I just want to clarify a few things which we discussed last time as well. They are just additional information. So I get these questions very often. So I will just inform people about it, like whoever is watching this live. So sometimes people come to us with questions like they are British or any other passport holder living in India, currently in India, and they have PR for Australia. And can they travel from India to Australia? So we have had people from Nepal, UK, and Nepalese passport holder with PR, and British passport holder with PR. So we have brought these people to Australia. So that means without any problem at the airport. So that works. So if any of you is looking forward to coming to Australia with those passport and PR, please, you can anytime book our flights. Another thing is that this is a very recent one. Now, the travel exemption and Vivo document. So what happens is when you apply for a visa, you get an immigration grant notification. Okay, and when we go to Home Affairs website, we can get the VEVO document from there, which basically states whether you are a PR holder or not. Now, the problem comes when some people change their passport, like they get a new passport. So that new passport is not immediately updated on Vivo document. You have, and we need to provide this information to airline, all these documents. So whenever you apply for a new passport, always update your IMI account with your new passport details and update your Vivo document. You can always get it through your IMI account. Update that IMI account with the new Vivo document, new passport, and get the new Vivo document with a recent passport number, and you can share it with us, or just keep it for your reference because it's important. Another question is that there's one thing which I've noticed, not from now, but from last year as well, 2020, which is typo errors by Home Affairs, which happens sometimes, like date of birth be incorrect. For example, if 6 September, it will be mentioned as 9th September on your travel exemption. Please get it. Please, that should be the first thing you should check on your travel exemption, that all your details are correct. Your passport number, because there have been cases where the passport number was incorrect. It was not incorrect, it was just incomplete. Or maybe one number is missing, or date of birth is not, instead of 6, it was 9th. It is just a typo error. However, it's always good to keep the Home Affairs informed about it. It will not create any problem. It hasn't created any problem so far, but if it's a major problem, major difference, please get in touch with Home Affairs to get it rectified.
Okay.
So, yeah, so these were the basic things that I wanted to talk.
Okay. So some of the last questions. Venkatesh, let's help Venkatesh with his question. That he's saying, I got an exemption approval on 13th of August. I have booked tickets for 11th of October. I think we discussed this before. Can I still travel? Do I need to raise other travel exemption approval?
So you have got the exemption on 13th August, okay, which
Yes.
is which is recent, which is not too far, and it should mention a TER0 number. Now, if you will check your travel exemption, it should mention that in case your flight details are changing, in case you are booking a new flight, you don't need a new travel exemption. That's what it should say. That's what it usually mentions. However, this can be reconfirmed. I have checked this with Home Affairs. That's what the agent sitting there told me, that they don't need to apply again because it's just a flight which has changed, and the exemption has been received recently. So it should be fine. However, I would still suggest to just call Home Affairs on 131881 and recheck with them once.
Okay. Again, he's asking if due to the cap reduction, the flight get canceled or postponed to Sydney. Does he needs to apply for a new exemption, or with that
No,
exemption
it has
for a
the
new
cap.
booking?
I'm sorry, Chris. The cap reduction has nothing to do with your exemption. It has nothing to do with that. It only means that your flight will be changed, right? It could be a possibility that your flight is changed, which I'm not. I haven't checked your booking, so I'm not sure. But you can, as I told you before, you can definitely drop us an email on this. And if your exemption is from 13th August, your flight is in October, 11th October, it should be fine.
Okay. Someone that is recognized as iPhone wants to know the cap levels for each state. We are going to update this tomorrow on our social media, if possible, in our website. So keep posted to all that information that we're trying to post on our social media. We're posting a lot of news about traveling these days when situation change in India or in Australia. We're trying to keep you posted. So we will try to get the caps ready tomorrow and share it with all of you in our social media and our website. How often the flights are returning from India to Australia? We're having one flight every Monday.
Every Monday we were having every
Yeah.
flight. Yeah, and we have more flights coming up in the month of October as well.
Yeah. So we have
You can all
one flight coming from India every Monday. However, there are until 25th of October every Monday, and September is fully booked. And October, we have few of them available. I think just 25 of October is available, and I guess only from Brisbane or Sydney, and very few seats available, to be honest.
Yeah.
So if you are looking for, get the last seats, because I think they are really last seats. I can't tell how many, but I don't think they're necessarily more than 10.
Yeah. And
So
he also has another question. Do we believe this will change once the Australian population reaches 80% vaccination? We are very hopeful, actually, right, Chris, that once the vaccination goal is reached, the travel scenario will completely not will eventually change, will slowly change, and we will have the caps will be increased, and we will have more frequency of travelers, because we know a lot of Indians like Australian passport holders and Indians with PR, and parents who are stuck in India. So we are very hopeful on this, and we would really urge everyone to get vaccinated at this point.
exactly. So Raj, you are welcome to join us next week. Next week we are going to discuss this topic. We are going to try to have every Monday a Facebook Live that will be full of information, valuable information for all of you. So Raj, you are fully welcome, and everyone else watching this Zoom live or when we posted on our Facebook Live. Whoever is watching, please join us next week, where we will be talking about how Australia is thinking to move with the advance of the vaccination. Australia is moving forward to get almost all of them vaccinated. And just to let you know, for example, this week, the country will reach 70% of people vaccinated with at least the first dose. That will going to happen this week. Today, I checked the numbers, and already 67% of the people eligible in Australia has been vaccinated. So it's a matter of 3-4 days before we reach 70% of people eligible with the first dose. We are not talking about the second dose, we are talking about the first. But when the people get the first dose, there is no point to them receive the second one. You know? So that will be really helpful. So next week, we are going to have another guest that is going to talk about vaccination and the 4 phases that Australia is going to move. At the moment, we are in the first stage of that plan, the first phase. We are going to explain how Australia is going to move to the second phase and to the third and the 4th phase. Okay, I'm not sure if we have any other question. Okay. Are the flights coming back from India to Australia still 8,000? If I remember, the price was
7,000.
Yeah, 7,000. Says 699.
Yeah, because it's for the same reason which Chris explained before, Raj, that the number of people who are coming to Australia, which they are allowing right now, the cap is pretty low, and in the airlines, since they're operating at such low numbers, they have to manage. They have to increase the cost. So that is the only reason, and we hope once the entire when at least 80%, 70% is done, we can bring up our families here. It's easier to travel, and let's hope for the best.
Yeah. So I think that's all the questions that we have available until the moment. Anuja, thank you very much as always. It's a pleasure to have you as a guest in the Gabra Travel Facebook Lives. See you soon. I hope you and your family are going well during this lockdown. Guys, everyone stay safe. Let's try to follow the last rules that are in place that I'm pretty confident we are going to be free soon.
Chris, just one thing. I think this one lady, Anandita, she has asked this question again.
Yeah, that's another one question. Cool.
Immigration approving visitor visa at this age. While we don't work for immigration, what we see is what the kind of experiences we are sharing are because we are checking all the documents of travelers who are using our services. So yes, immigration is approving visitor visas, like the recent ones which have been approved few days back, and travel exemption is also there. So yes, it is happening. Based on that information, I can tell you, yes, visitor visa are being approved.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you very much. Until the last time you were valuable with information. Thank you very much, Anuja. Thank you very much, everyone. And see you next time.
Thank you.